Hi, everybody. This is Julie Budd, and you're listening to TV Confidential.
Eden's first daughter of sin, beneath her lovely golden tresses, she really had a set of skin.
Ed Robertson with a reminder that Eileen Graff will join us at the top of the hour. We're stay tuned for that. In the meantime, Tony Figueroa and Donna Allen are with us as we take a look at this week in TV history. Tony's segment, as always, is brought to us by our friends at Story Salon, Southern California's longest-running, regularly performing live storytelling ensemble. For more information, storysalon.com, facebook.com/Story Salon. What do you have for us tonight?
All right, let's go to August 1st, 1971.
The beat goes on.
The beat goes on, yes. Sonny and Cher debuted. The Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour. Let me preface that. The Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour debuts.
One of the last great variety shows.
Yeah, I think last and great.
Great.
You have to put those together.
Yeah.
They were definitely not the last, but they were one of the best.
Yeah.
And just vamping here a little bit. When you think variety show, who comes to mind?
Carol Burnett.
Carol Burnett, right?
Smothers Brothers.
Smothers
Red
Brothers.
Skelton.
Can we put Laugh-In in that category, even though it was more of a comedy show than
Okay,
a
we can put
variety
Laugh-In,
show?
yeah.
Red Skelton, right? Before our time, Gary Moore.
Gary Moore. Andy Williams.
Andy Williams. Glenn Campbell.
Glenn Campbell. Also very interesting because, like Sonny and Cher, Glenn Campbell started as a summer replacement show.
Yeah, for the Smothers.
That went on to spin off and have a nice healthy run in its own right.
Definitely it did. And then later Donnie and Marie.
Mm-hmm.
And we brought up in the past Pink Lady and Jeff.
Pink Lady and Jeff.
I'm sorry, we said great variety.
Not to go too far afield, but Julie Andrews had a. One would argue that it was a great variety show and that it won an Emmy, despite the fact that it was canceled. It won the Emmy for Best Variety Show at the end of its one and only year on the air.
You know, we could do a whole hour on award-winning shows that got canceled.
Right.
I think, Taxi won a bunch of awards the same year it got canceled. I mean, that would take a little research, but I think
Sure.
it would be definitely worth discussing. But, you had Sonny and Cher. And, by the way, they were greatly patterned after Louis Prima and
Keely Smith.
And Keely
Oh, yeah.
Smith. And they had...
Please and no squeeze of the bananas.
Yes. And Old Black Magic.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just the singing together.
But no,
was
it was
the banter.
Right, the rapport. I mean, Sonny played the fool on the show, and as going back to school, the fool is usually the smartest one in the bunch, and certainly off camera, Sonny was very, very shrewd. I mean, he was the one who really gave the energy to the show and to the act.
And I think, you look at him, you look at Tommy Smothers,
Mm-hmm.
and, nobody realized at the time that Tommy was the brains of everything associated with the Smothers Brothers
Mm-hmm.
Variety Hour. But Sonny was very busy, hands-on with everything, and didn't have enough time to rehearse at the end of the day. And so I think that only added to the character, because he would, forget lines, and just mess up that way, which gave Cher even more fodder,
Right.
To get to work off of.
And Cher, Cher got very good at delivering that kind of droll, deadpan, put down.
Oh, she was brilliant at it.
Was their husband and wife working on television at the time? I mean, it had been a while, hadn't it?
I think not since Burns
Not
and
since
Allen.
Burns and Allen, no.
And that was a very different dynamic.
Right. I mean, Richard Benjamin and Paula Prentice, they had the 1 year a few years earlier with He and She, but
A little bit later, we would have Bridget Loves Bernie.
Bridget Loves Bernie with David Burney and Meredith Baxter. But no, I mean, not too many real life husband and wife starring together on primetime television.
And they didn't look like your typical married couple either.
Yes, well, she was tall and he was not.
She was ethnic.
And he was not.
He was Italian.
He was Italian, but she had the exotic beauty.
Yeah.
And there was nothing like that on television.
No. And she, I think it's safe to say that she put Bob Mackie on the map.
Yes, she did. Fashion-wise, yes. Remember, he'd been designing for Carol Burnett. Which I don't think of. I think of him as a costume designer. When I think of Sonny and Cher, I think fashion.
Yeah. Well, because Carol Burnett, she was talented, but she didn't have the elegant, traditional model-like physique.
You would see the Mackie dress for the monologue and the questions from the audience,
right? And
then you would see costumes for the rest of the show,
right? Whereas with Cher, it was more like a fashion statement.
Oh yeah.
And again, the other thing of the way Sonny artfully put together that show. I mean, you would have elements of. I mean, it was very structured, very much like the Smothers Brothers show, and that the two of them would, come on and they would do an act together, and they would fall into character and do the banter, and then you would have the various sketches. And then
Cher's singing was always showcased.
Was always usually on the middle of the show. I mean, Cher always had a number, so we always, which helped launch Cher's solo career after the fact.
And that's when you would see the Bob Mackie dresses.
Exactly.
And their ensemble.
Yeah.
They had one of the best comedy ensembles, I think, of
right.
That side of Carol Burnett.
Right.
But everyone knows Carol Burnett's ensemble: Lyle Wagner, Vicki Lawrence, Harvey Korman, Tim Conway. But they had an incredible troupe.
Right, Terry Garr, who went on to have a very successful solo career in movies and in television.
Mm-hmm.
Murray Langston,
who went on to become. Of course, he had to bag it. He had to put a bag on his face to become the unknown comic.
Yeah.
But,
Freeman King. And all these guys, they were just incredibly talented.
I think Steve Martin crossed over and did a year on the Sonny and Cher show.
He did do a year on the Sonny and Cher show after the Smothers Brothers. He worked with Glenn Campbell too.
Just before he launched his solo career with the arrow in his head.
The Wild and Crazy Guy.
Wild and Crazy Guy. It's too bad we'll never see the era of variety shows again, but it's fun to talk about some of the great shows such as the Sonny and Cher. Originally a summer series, as we mentioned, that went on to carry on and have a successful 3 or 4 season run on CBS in the mid '70s.
And I owe something to Sonny because I did in the late '80s. I did a radio show, and our first guest was Sonny Bono, like 5 days after he became mayor of Palm Springs. And so the election came, and the following Friday when we did the show, he was our first guest, and we had made some connections through the Palm Springs Convention and Visitors Bureau, and they said, Sonny's down the hall. Would you like to have him on your show? Yes.
How was he?
He was very fun. He was tired.
I'll bet.
It was one of those things where they said, can you pre-tape instead of going live? He said, yeah. He said he'll be available from this time to this time. We got into the studio. Like I said, he was elected, I think, on a Tuesday, and this is Friday. And we get over there, and they said, what's it like? And he said, this is the hardest I've ever worked in my life. And he talked about, at that time, Palm Springs was kind of the West Coast version of spring break, and it was going out of control. He wanted to bring a film festival, which still exists. He was talking about having like a Cannes film festival in Palm Springs, and bringing in tourism and changing the image of the city. And he talked about his plans, and he was very polite and very nice. And who knew that? And we were like one of the first radio shows that he did an interview after. So we were very, very.
That's a
touched.
good coup.
But yes, and we stayed friends with the head of the Convention and Visitors Bureau for a long, long time ever since then. But so he helped us out by being our first guest. Our first celebrity guest on that radio show, and we were very touched.
And of course, he went on to
go into politics.
Yeah.
He was he became a U.S. congressman. Cher won an Oscar, and when Sonny did die tragically in the skiing accident up in Lake Tahoe, Cher gave a wonderful eulogy and said basically without him there would be no Sonny and Cher.
No, it was just one of those things that they spent their time apart, but after they got over whatever initial bitterness they had, they
makes you think of Lucy and Desi.
Yeah.
I mean, until the end, Lucy, basically you didn't have speed dial yet, but Lucy would constantly be calling Desi. She'd be working on new shows, any creative dilemma, call Desi. And Desi had an answer for her.
We'll continue our look at This Week in TV History at the end of our second hour. We hope you'll stay tuned for that. In the meantime, and speaking of Sonny and Cher, our friends at Time Life have just released I Got You, Babe, the best of the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour, a 2-volume 10 DVD collector's edition that includes 10 episodes of the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour, including the premiere episode on August 1st, 1971, featuring Jimmy Durante, along with the pilot episode of the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour, which aired in 1970 as part of the Barbara McNair Show, plus 3 episodes of Cher's short-lived solo variety hour from 1975, including the star-studded premiere episode featuring Elton John, Bette Midler, and Flip Wilson, and 3 episodes of the Sonny and Cher Show, the short-lived variety hour from 1976 that briefly reunited Sonny and Cher on television after their divorce. I Got You, Babe, the best of Sonny and Cher, is available exclusively at TimeLife.com for 5 easy payments of $19.99, and that includes free shipping. Bonus features on the best of the Sonny and Cher DVD package include talk show appearances of Sonny and Cher on The Dick Cavett Show and Dinah, Cher's show-stopping performance of the Star-Spangled Banner for Super Bowl 33, brand new interviews with Frankie Avalon, Bob Mackey, George Schlatter, Lily Tomlin, and Cher herself, plus a bonus DVD called The Sonny and Cher Years Special, which is a 2-part special that tells the story of how Sonny and Cher met while also celebrating the 60s. I Got You, Babe, the best of Sonny and Cher, available exclusively at TimeLife.com for 5 easy payments of $19.99 plus free shipping. I Got You, Babe, the best of Sonny and Cher, available exclusively at TimeLife.com. Eileen Graff will join us when we come back for hour number 2 of TV Confidential. Stay with us.
If you haven't been listening to TV Confidential, this is who you're missing.
Michelle Nichols, Adrienne Barbeau,
Leonard Maltin,
Joyce Bulifant,
Peter Onorati,
Judy Norton,
Robert Wagner, Robert Hooke,
Lee Purcell, Julie Budd, Rhonda Shear, Michelle Lee, Jacqueline Smith,
Bill Antonio,
Shirley Jones,
And many, many more of your favorite celebrities and people behind the scenes in the world of television. That's TV Confidential, every week on this station and every day online at televisionconfidential.com.
Become a TV Confidential confidant and receive unlimited access to the last 5 years of TV Confidential, plus other members-only content. To find out more, go to televisionconfidential.com and click Become a Confidant. Enter the coupon code CONFIDENTIAL when you sign up, and you'll receive $5 off your first month's membership. For more information, go to televisionconfidential.com and click Become a Confidant.
You can listen to this show all over again as a podcast on iTunes, Spreaker, TuneIn, Apple Podcast, and wherever podcasts are found. Best of all, it's free. To subscribe to the TV Confidential podcast, go to the homepage at televisionconfidential.com and click Subscribe Now.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they were able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
Become an advertiser or underwriter of TV Confidential and let our brand help promote your brand. To find out more, go to televisionconfidential.com/advertise.
Alexa users, you can now listen to TV Confidential on your smart speaker by just saying, Alexa, play TV Confidential. Enabling our Alexa skill is easy. To find out how, go to televisionconfidential.com/Alexa.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty Group, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.